Hey everyone, and welcome to a sneak preview of my dashboard application for Twitch. First of all, thank you to those who have asked to test this out. I will be releasing a beta probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, so Friday. And before doing so, I thought about putting together a sneak preview of what you can expect and some of the things that work and a lot of things that don't work yet. So let's go ahead and have a look at what we have so far. So what you're looking at here is my working environment, and I'll be showing you the a test run or a debug run. And the first time you start the application, you will be presented with the authorization process. Simply click on this button here, which will load up the Twitch login screen. You simply fill in your Twitch credentials, then hit login. Oops, let's do it right. Okay, this has now skipped the screen actually because the application was already authorized with Twitch. It just now renewed my token. So normally you would get another screen that will ask you to, if you are sure you want to authorize the application, and then you click on the authorize button, then you will see this screen. You simply close it and it will now load the information attached to the channel that you just logged in with. In case you want to add another account, so for people having more than one account, you can simply click on that button that I just clicked on, then log in with a different account. So let me see which one I'll pick. Okay, done that. And now it will load the information for that account that I just logged in with. If I then click on the little user icon here, I can see both accounts that are now authorized with Twitch. And I can switch between them. So I'm now logged in here with TeeBoard, and I can now switch back to the first account. In case you were wondering what the other icon here is for, if you click on that, it will open up a little window that shows you your stream key for the account that you're logged in with. Of course, showing it would be silly, so I'm not going to do that, but you can copy it to the clipboard. Then you can go into OBS or XSplit and simply paste your stream key and you're good to go. Now, the first screen that you see here is where you will be able to do some of the basic things that you would probably do daily or every time you stream, is like changing the status and the game for your stream. One thing you'll notice that is different from what you have on the Twitch website is there's a drop down list here with a set number of platforms that you can select. And for instance, if you select PC and you want to change the game, you will only be served game titles that are available on the PC. Same thing for the other platforms. So if I select PlayStation and I want to change this to Assassin's Creed, I'll be only getting games that are actually available on the PlayStation. And the main reason for this is that it's a lot faster to look up, because the titles that it has to look up is reduced to only that platform. So instead of looking through 40,000 game titles, it only has to look through, like, I think for PC it's 17,000 at the moment. And on top of that, the list of platforms are loaded from files locally, so they come installed with the dashboard application. And what you can do is you can create your own list of game titles and have it display in here, so you can customize this. Now, from this page you will also be able to run commercials, but of course only when the channel is actually live, so that's why it's currently disabled. And you'll be able to set like an auto run on a given time. I think the default is 60 minutes, but you'll be able to set this to 30 minutes and 15, something like that. Oh yeah, as you can see, there's a refresh button here. If I click on that, it will reload whatever I had my status and game set to. Something I skipped is the part here at the top that says editing. As you can see, it now lists the same user as the one that is currently logged in, and it has a plus sign. If I click on the drop down, there's only one user here now. What you can do here is add channels of which you are an editor. And unfortunately, you have to do this manually because Twitch doesn't provide any means to retrieve a list of the channels that you have been given permission to edit. So you have to click on the plus sign and then add a channel. Let me see which one I'm an editor of. I think this one should work. Then you click on submit, and yeah, you saw in the background here that it was loading information for that channel. And if I now close this and look, you should now see TeeBoard. If I click on that, click on activate, it normally should switch to that channel, but that hasn't been implemented yet, which is basically why I skipped it. But you can already add channels, and later on you'll be able to activate them. So you will still be logged in with your main account, but the information that you'll see here and that you'll be able to change will be the channel that you select here. Okay, moving on. Stream statistics. This, when your channel goes live, it will reload the channel or the stream information every 5 minutes, and over here it will display the number of viewers over time. So this will help you kind of get a overview of when you had most viewers and stuff like that. For now, this is pretty basic, pretty simple. I do have plans for this, like saving that information in a database so you can have like a weekly or monthly overviews and things like that, but nothing. This is like low on my priority list right now, so this will probably be implemented very late. But maybe just to solve it real quick, what I can do is hard code a channel here, which is hopefully online, which is my game. If I now rerun the application. Okay, as you can see, that channel is now online. It has 633 viewers. The other information is still from my channel. It's just the statistics, because that is accessible without authorization. So if I would then go to the stream stats, of course the channel just started now, and where was it? Over here. So there's only 1 point here, so there's 633 viewers, but within 5 minutes there will be a second point, and so on and so on. So you will be able to follow the curve of viewers. I'm going to leave it like that for now, and maybe within 5 or 10 minutes we can check back here. Next, should I do the widget or skip it? Let's skip this for now. Videos. This will be your channel VODs, so broadcasts and highlights, and you'll be able to download them. It's not implemented yet, but you can watch them, open in the browser, copy URL, and for the broadcast you can highlight them, but you cannot do so within the application. This will take you to the Twitch website. Again, because Twitch does not provide any means to do that outside of the website. Of course, clicking a VOD will open it for viewing locally. Of course, you get the commercials first. Typical. Well, anyway, you get the idea. And following. This is nothing special. This is just a streams or the channels that you're following, the ones that are currently live. So if you want to, you can watch them from right here. And again, we get a commercial. Yeah, it will keep doing that until you view the commercial completely, but again, not important. So this is like, again, this is nothing special. This is just something that I added now, and this is something that is not implemented yet, just showing you so we can move on to stuff that does work. Let's start with this, now playing. For those of you that know Twobbler, this is basically Twobbler but built into this application. So if you use TeeBoard, you no longer need Twobbler because it's built in here. Now, the first time you start this, and for as long as you don't sign up, you will be presented with this information. You can simply close it down, and if you already have a Last.fm user or a Last.fm account, like I do, you simply fill in your name here, click on submit. Oh yeah, you have to wait for 10 seconds, because that is the timer, or 15 seconds, that is the timer or the time that it refreshes. So within a few seconds, it should normally load my latest tracks, as you can see here. And now it will keep doing so. Oh, I see there is a bug still. Ha, okay. So it will keep doing so every 15 seconds now. And the actual bug is that over here there's a toggle switch that is disabled by default for as long as there is no username present. But as soon as you add a username, it should enable this. So if I close this down and start it again, it should be enabled now. But yeah, that's a little bug that I'll fix in a minute. So as you can see here, it is now enabled and it is switched on, and every 15 seconds it will reload the information from Last.fm. Excuse me. So as you can see, it now loaded the information. And if I would be playing music, it would then update, of course. Where is it? It would update this, but let me quickly show you how this then works in OBS. So over here we have OBS running, currently in preview mode. What I need to do here is add a text source. I'm going to call it Twobbler. Click on OK. Now TeeBoard stores the information in your user documents folder. There's a folder there created called TeeBoard, and then a folder called Twobbler, and there's a now playing text in there. If I open that up, I can then set the font and whatnot. Let's quickly do a few settings that I know work. So this, then you would use this and some scrolling. Just gonna do this really quick. Okay, I have the text over here, edit scene, oops, put it into place like that. Okay, just need to adjust the extents a bit. I think it's about 450. Yeah, okay, that'll do. So there you go. Let me switch to preview, full screen. So over here you now have your music information. Pretty simple. Now switching back to the dashboard, you have your configure button here, or your configure options for just for Twobbler. These are the same as they are for the standalone Twobbler application. So you can change the wrapping, the divider, the spacing, the order if you like the track or the artist first, or the artist and then the track, like this. You can skip the album title, And of course you can load the album cover. This will be placed in the same folder as the text file is. Then you click apply and it will now apply that information or those settings. One of the nice things about the dashboard is that you can easily turn or toggle features on and off. So like if you're not interested in live stats, you turn it off. So now it's on, now it's off. Same with Twobbler. Now it's on, so it will fetch your music information, but if you're streaming without music, simply click the switch and it will now no longer fetch that information from Last.fm. The followers and subs, we'll look at that right now. And you will find that under the widgets. So that's one of the reasons why I added these switches, is because it toggles features on and off that are in different locations. So rather than you go hunting those down, like if you wanted to disable the widgets, coming to the widgets and then looking for them, you have the switches here and they're always accessible. So widgets, I've added the following up to now, which is followers, subscribers, as you can see it's empty, the clock, and a countdown, which is also empty. Basically subscribers and followers, they are more or less the same thing. And the same with the clock and the countdown. So that's why I'm focusing on one of them, and then I'll add the other afterwards. So, but followers isn't fully implemented yet, but I'll show you a test in a minute. So I'm going to start with the clock. The clock is pretty simple. It just displays your local time, or allows you to display your local time on your stream. But before you can use any of these widgets, there is something important that you need to do. Basically, you will need, for OBS, you will need the CLR browser plugin, which you can download from the OBS forum. And you need to do another thing. So I just clicked on open location, and this opens the folder where the widgets are stored, in this case the clock. And what you need to do here is you need to add the location of the widgets, so to the trusted locations of the Flash player, because otherwise you will not be able to use them. If you have Flash installed or you have the means to play Swift files, you can do so by clicking the Swift file. But I'll show it in the browser because I'm guessing that's what most people will be able to use. So I open it up in the browser, and you see it just plays my local time. I right click on the Swift file and select global settings. Under global settings you go to advanced and then look for the trusted location settings, and you need to add the location of the widgets. So I'm gonna add a folder and look for it over here. Oh no, not over here. This one, my documents, TeeBoard. And rather than selecting the subfolder from the clocks, I selected the parent folder, the widgets. So I then only have to add one location because all the widgets are in this location. So add it, confirm. Now this folder is added to the trusted locations, and there you go. Now the reason for this is that the dashboard needs to be able to communicate with this Swift file once it is running in OBS, and to do so it needs the location of the Swift file needs to be added to the trusted locations, otherwise it will just fail. Now one other thing we need to do is in OBS, if you have the CLR browser plugin installed, you go to the browser and then let me see, is it runtime? Yeah, under runtime there's an option that says, where is it? Over here, synchro process. I think it defaults to false, and you need to set it to true, because otherwise Flash files within the browser plugin simply don't work. So simply set this to true, click on apply, click on OK, and then you have to restart OBS. Otherwise it will not be applied. Okay, with that being said, let's do the preview stream. Let's go ahead and add a CLR browser instance or source. I'm going to call this clock. Click on OK. Over here, I'm now going to browse to the widgets, clock, and select TeeBoard clock HTML file. If you're using XSplit, you don't use the HTML file, you simply use the Swift file itself. So there we go. Then set this to, oh god, what was it again? I think 400 by 100. Yeah, I think that's the size of it. Then click on OK, and as you can see, you now have a clock. Bada bing, bada boom. Place it wherever you want, and of course, the cool thing is now that I can change a few things like the color of the text. I can make it red. I can set the background to fully black. Let's start with that. Click on apply, and as you can see, it changes. So by default it says use military time. If I want AM PM, click on apply. You know, as you can see, it says PM over here. And in case you don't want to display your local time, but you want to, I don't know what time zone you want to display, you can enable the use UTC or GMT instead of local time, and then you can specify an offset, and you can specify an offset from -12 to +14. So I'm in GMT +1. So basically, if I now say apply GMT, it will count down 1 hour. If I add 1 hour, it will basically show my local time again. So something for you to play with. So coloring, the background color, maybe pick something like that. And do this. So you can play around with this. And of course you can do the usable things that you can do with any source in OBS. Is you can make it bigger, make it smaller. One thing to note is that in case you want the clock to be displayed on different scenes, the best way to go about that in OBS is to actually add it as a global source. Because if I would switch the scene and it would have a clock as well, it would reinitialize the clock. That's just how OBS works. It doesn't do that in XSplit, by the way. So let me quickly show that. Add. I'm gonna name that clock as well. Browse for the same file. 400. Oh, oops. 400 by 100. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm tapping with my left hand. So you see, it just initialized, and if I switch back to the lobby, I will actually get an error. Yeah, that's what I forgot. Okay, and that's that has to do with the as you can see here, the local connection. That is the connection between OBS and the dashboard. And to avoid that, and also to avoid the reinitializing of the clock, I'm going to remove it. In both scenes, then go to global sources and add it over here. So there we go, call it clock. By 100. Click on OK, click on OK. Now add global source, clock. Go back here, add global source, clock. Okay, and if I now switch between the two scenes, I should no longer get the message. And as you can see, the clock, hold on, let me switch to normal timing. There we go. So now it displays my local time on both without reinitializing. So you can seamlessly switch between scenes. And of course you can make this one like really big. There we go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the countdown will be very similar, except that instead of a clock, it will just be a counter that you can set to a certain starting time and ending time, and it will just count down. So simple, but I'm guessing useful. Let's have a look at the followers. And I know this is a feature that has been or has become more and more popular lately, so that is why I implemented this. I'm actually still working on it. So what this does is when your stream is live, it loads your followers, and it loads the last 10 followers, and it will do so every, I haven't really set a time yet, but I think every 5 minutes, and then it will check if you have new followers, and in case you do, you will be able to do a few things, like play a sound, and there's like 28 that you can choose from, so whichever sound you pick. I like that one. So it will play a sound, and because it plays through your normal output, people will also hear it on the stream. Of course, you can toggle this on and off. So off means no sound. Then display on stream via OBS or XSplit, that will be the same as what I just did with the clock, and I'll show you that in a minute. If you don't want that, you can turn it off as well. Then you can write the info to a text file. This is the same as Twobbler does. So instead of having it display on the stream via a Swift file, you can simply load in a text file. Then, and of course you can turn this off. For instance, if you only want this, you turn this on and you turn this off. Then display a notification on screen. I still have to work on that. I still have to implement that. That will, because when you're streaming and you may hear the sound that there's a new follower, but there's no way that you can see who actually did follow you, and maybe you want to thank them, but you can't see who it is because you're not watching the stream. The people on the stream may see it, but you don't. So this will have like a little pop-up window. By default it will be near the system tray, but you'll be able to relocate it. So if you have like a second monitor, you'll be able to locate it on your second monitor, and then whenever you have a new follower, that name will be displayed on your second monitor, so you can quickly spot his name or her name. And of course you can turn this off as well. And then last but not least, you can set the text to be displayed both in the text file and on screen. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see how that works in OBS. Okay, here we go. Just like with the clock, it's not advised to add a normal source. So we're gonna go ahead and add a global source immediately. So add, and again it's a CLR browser thingy. Let's do followers. Click on OK. I'm gonna browse to where the widget is. It's under notifications because both the followers and the subscribers will use the same widget. I'm using OBS, so go for OBS. If you're using XSplit, you have a Swift file there. For OBS, you pick the HTML file. You open it up. The width is 9020 by, I think, 40. Like that. You don't have to do anything else. Just click on OK. Click on OK. Now add a global source. Followers. There we go. I'm not seeing anything, but if I click on Edit Scene, you will see it appear at the top. And that's where you should locate it, because when I hit test in a second, you'll see like a little animation slide in from the top. I do plan on adding more variety to it, but this will have to do for now. So let's see how this works. If I click on test, it slides down and you see name is now following the channel. Normally name is what is displayed here or entered here. This will be replaced of course with whoever, or with the name of the person that just followed your channel. So as you can see, test, there we go. If I now do the same over here, add a global source, add the followers, there we go. If I edit scene, I can see it's at the top. And the reason for using a global source is the following. If I click test and switch between scenes in the middle of it, it will actually continue on the other scene. So if I click on test, you can see it now, go back to lobby, and you see it's still there and it will actually disappear. So that's why you use a global source, so you can easily add them to different scenes and it will still work. So this is basically it in a nutshell. Well, it was kind of a very long nutshell. And before I end this video, just remember that even with everything set here, let's say you're doing a giveaway or whatnot and you don't want to be bothered with sounds and whatnot and messages and things going on, because you want to focus on your giveaway or whatever it is you want to focus on, or maybe you're doing an interview or whatnot, then you simply come here and you turn it off without changing anything to any of the settings here. It's simply switched off and you won't hear a sound, you won't see any messages pop up, nothing. And if you want to enable it again, simply, I had the wrong setting in the switch, sorry. So, well, you get the idea, I hope. Anyway, so this has been running for a while now. As you can see, there's now, I still have the Smite Game channel hard-coded in there. So there's 676 people online. If I now go to stream stats, remember we started at 760, and you get a nice overview of what has been going on in the last, what is it, hour. Wow, okay, yeah, a little less than an hour. So again, this is a quick overview of what is to come. Hopefully I'll have a beta, probably not tomorrow, most likely Friday, and if I don't feel it's like ready yet, it'll probably be early next week. But I hope you like what you saw here, and feel free to give me some feedback or, you know, whatever. But for now, thanks for watching. Sorry it was so lengthy. I wasn't planned to be so lengthy, but yeah, that's what it turned out to be. Again, thanks for watching, and hope you like it. Bye bye.